So basically, instead of building everything from scratch, how do we build our own opinion about the technology, the research, the all the advancement that is happening in the industry, and sort of build opinion that we can take to the client, right? So from that perspective, we've built several different accelerators. Zuno Predict is basically the machine learning based platform. And primarily we use it in the scenarios as you mentioned, Lazy, earlier, that predictive, wherever we are trying to solve a predictive problem, whether it is forecasting, whether it is supply chain optimization, whether it is like trying to predict churn, forecasting, right? All those sort of things. This is where the predict accelerator becomes very useful. So what I'm going to do today is maybe give you a glimpse of that, the platform itself to begin with, and then try and explain how a typical use case would look like, maybe even show a use case to you. And then we have other accelerators which are more generative AI based. So Zuno Assist, for example, is focused on as generative AI technology, and then we use that to sort of accelerate the development of various different use cases where either we are generating content, we are helping sort of process RFPs, process DDQs, etc., etc. Right? So a lot of different, again, enterprise use cases from that perspective. So to begin with, let me just walk you through this, right? So what you see on the screen is the platform, and the key idea we approach when we're looking at any predictive solution is being able to run fast experiments. You would know that in data science, defining the problem, and then before you get to the final solution, you need to do a lot of experiments to be able to figure out what is the best way to solve. There is no right or wrong solution right from the beginning. And that's where this platform helps us significantly to be able to run those experiments faster. So for example, let's say if we are building a customer churn solution for any SaaS company, which is trying to figure out, okay, what is the likelihood of they losing out on a particular customer, or maybe any revenue leakage happening, and they want to sort of control that right before it becomes real, right? And sort of take actions. So, and if I'm trying to build a solution, let's say I decide that, okay, I want to build a churn solution to identify a particular client being at risk. I could start with a classification sort of a model. I pick a data set. So in case of generally the such a solution, you would integrate with systems like maybe their product management system, like Pendo or others. We might connect with their CRM system like Hotspot and others, and collect a lot of data about the CRMs. We would connect to their finance systems, right? So trying to understand about the invoicing and all of it, right? And all of that data gets collected. So in this case, let's say if I have all of that data already collected, and then now I'm trying to build a solution. So how simple that experimentation could be, I'll walk you through that, and then we'll talk about the use cases as well. For example, in this case, let's say if I say, okay, I want to filter on certain columns. So let's say if I do opportunity stage could be a column I filter on. I decide a particular filter condition that, okay, all values, all data, right? And then I select a few more things. And then I say, okay, I'm looking for I'm trying to build a model to figure out either a particular client could be canceled or at risk, right? So that's sort of a client or a customer. I do the ad filter, and then I can create the experiment quickly. And now once the experiment is in place, it will do a lot of things behind the scenes, right? So based on that data, the platform automatically does feature engineering. It's what we have, we call signal factory, basically, right? So which is sort of a proprietary algorithm to combine different features from the data set and run lots of different hypotheses. In many cases, we sometimes build like hundreds of models to be able to see, okay, which model might give us the right performance, and then we can actually try out like, okay, what features are useful, what features are not useful, and we work with our clients like business teams very closely in that case. For example, if you look at this, right? I mean, I just showing you these one of the previous runs we had. So you see, for that particular data set and for that particular thing, we have built these many models already here, right? And different types of algorithms we try, etc., etc. The other thing you would notice is the timestamp. Look at the timestamp for each of these models, and to get a feel about how quickly we can build these models, like 229, 234, 227, right? So basically, every few minutes we keep building models, and sometimes we do hundreds of models. And the idea behind that is that once we have the model in place, we see some of the key metrics like AUC and BSS and others. We could actually work with businesses. We can do a lot more deeper analysis. Like for example, for each of these models, we can look at, okay, what sort of features were used, right? So what features were selected by the platform? What was the interaction of those like feature elements within that? What is the impact of each of these features, right? So you can see the impact of the organization side. But this is we're talking in terms of the customer channel, right? So all these different factors could come in handy, could apply. Like customer tenure could be an element. So a number of different aspects we can look at, and then that this helps us work with the business teams from the client side to see, okay, do you believe that, okay, the feature we are considering here is actually useful, or should we approach it differently? And they might say, sometimes they might say, yeah, this may not be the right thing, so then accordingly we can make changes. For example, if I can easily go and say, okay, modify model and like build it from like an existing parameter. So here now I can decide, start looking at various things and say, okay, maybe no, we don't want to consider account segment. So I could just disable the whole thing, and the next time I build the model, that will not be considered. Or maybe we don't want to see the impact of annual revenue, right? That may not be a useful thing. Similarly, we can look at the various filters, we can look at various model parameters and sort of rebuild the model. So that way, we are able to sort of pretty quickly try out different things, work with businesses, and get to a point wherein we feel comfortable that, okay, now we have the right set of feature set, and we can think about now productionizing these models.